Welcome to this brief guide on customizing the Start menu in Windows 11. The Start menu in Windows 11 is vastly different to previous versions of Windows, and so not a lot of users are fully aware of the ways in which they can customize this Start menu to suit their needs. Today I'll show you how this is done. In your taskbar, click on the Windows icon and in the search field, type in Start Settings. Your top search result will be Start Settings, System Settings. Clicking on this will open up the Settings application directly to the Personalization Start option, and at the top we'll see some different layouts which will showcase the different ways in which we can lay out our Start menu. If I was to select the More Pins option, when I click on my Start menu, straight away I can see that I now have an additional row of options for my pinned apps at the sacrifice of some of my recommended items. If I was to go back to default, we'll get to see the usual layout that most are used to with 3 rows of pinned apps and then 3 rows of recommended items underneath. Going to more recommendations, we'll change this to 2 rows of pinned apps, but then give me 4 rows of recommended applications. This is really great to see. But if I have more applications in my pin section, I can always use the arrow keys or scroll wheel to be able to scroll through the list of my pinned apps. I'll change that back to default for the rest of this video. Underneath there, I also have options to show my recently added apps, my most used apps and things like that. Toggling off the recently added application one, you'll notice that there's no recently added apps in my recommended section, but if I turn this back on, I can click on my Start menu and straight away I can see that the recently installed application shop is now showing up in the recommended section. Same applies with the show the most used apps. So if I was to have this on, when I go to the All Apps section of my Start menu, what you'll see at the top is that I have all of my most used applications right there at the top, easy access. If I toggle this option off and then go back to my Start menu, when I open up the All Apps list, you'll notice that right at the top, it starts in alphabetical order with all of my apps and none of my most used ones. We also have an option underneath there to be able to show recently opened items in our Start menu, Jump Lists and File Explorer, but I'll leave that on. And then the last option is the Folders option. This will allow us to add additional buttons next to the Power menu on our Start menu. So at the moment, I just have my Power button, but what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to toggle a couple of these options on. So I'm going to turn on a quick action button to the Settings and to File Explorer. And the moment I open up my Start menu again, I now can easily and efficiently get to File Explorer or my Settings application with a single click. And if you ever want to adjust any of these settings, you can simply head back to your Start menu settings and adjust them accordingly. Now, let's go in and customize this Start menu just a little bit more. What you can see in my pinned apps is I have all of my Microsoft 365 apps all in a row because I use them quite regularly. But what I can now do with Windows 11's 22H2 update is I can drag and drop these applications on top of each other and create a folder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all of the different Office applications here and I'm going to put them all into a single folder. And we'll drop in PowerPoint and last but not least Word. And what you'll see is now I have many more spaces available to me in my pinned apps. But if I click on this folder, when I click on the folder, what I can do is I can actually drag and drop these around and adjust the positioning of them inside the folder, and the most recent 4 ones at the top will show up as the preview. I can also choose to enter in a name for my folders to make it easier to organize and understand where my apps are. So I'm going to call this one Microsoft 365 Apps. And now that I've got that sorted, I also have this last little empty space over here in the bottom corner. So I'm going to add an additional application from my All Apps list to the Start menu. Easiest way to do this is to simply right click on the application in your All Apps list and select the option that says Pin to Start. Now when I jump back to my Start menu, what you'll see is there I now have 1Password directly on my Start menu, easy access as well. And that is how you customize the Start menu in Windows 11 22H2. I hope you found this tip extremely useful, and I'll catch you in my next video. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to see more content like this, be sure to check out the channel, and if you like what you see, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.